Hello students, you are welcome once again to today's class. Today we are going to be discussing an extension of what we discussed last time. Our last class was called Manipulating Colors. Today we will call this class Manipulating Transparency. We are going to be manipulating transparency and using it to drop a shadow. If you notice in our last class, all our colors, what we could do was make them bright or dark, mix red, green, blue to form a color, and then take that color to be a border, or we could make it a background color, right? This one border and this one background color. I believe we remember this very well. Okay, how's that about that? Now we will look at the more interesting ideology. A more interesting concept is that in our last class we talked about RGB and we put the values where we had 255 as the maximum value for red, 255 as the maximum value for green, and 255 as the maximum value for blue. I hope we all remember that very well. Okay, in today's class we are going to be extending that just a little by adding something to RGB. Today we are going to add a, and we are going to add a value that the maximum is 1 and the minimum is 0. Remember, maximum is 1 and the minimum is 0. This A represents transparency. Transparency. Is that clear? Transparency. So R represents red, G represents green, B represents blue, and 1 represents transparency. That means that if 1 is extremely visible, is not transparent at all, then 0 will be totally transparent, that it will disappear. Do you understand? So we are going to pick something interesting together. We are going to pick a color, and then we are going to manipulate for 1, and we are going to manipulate for 0, and we'll see how both of them will work together and the color that it is going to give us as the output. Okay, so let's go. So we all remember our structure, our div. All right, let's work with our div again. So I'm going to write my tags. Okay, you remember that. And your second div. Okay, our style. One more thing, this kind of styling is called in styling. What did I call it? In styling. This kind of styling is called what? In styling. There's the normal styling and there's in styling. As we get to more advanced classes, we will now begin to separate our styling from our HTML code. But right now, our styling is inside our HTML code. So we remember that the first thing is always background image, and then we write the value, which will be RGB in some cases, but in this case we apply a RGBA, and then we will have 234, 34, 134, and 1. Is that clear? All right, that's our background color. Sorry for using the word image. We'll get to image later. Background color. All right. Okay, our background color. So now we have RGBA. and that is our value. This time around, we've not only taken red, green, and blue, we have added transparency, and we are making the transparency the highest value, which is 1, meaning it's not supposed to be transparent at all. Is that clear? Okay, so let's look at other things like the width. That should give us, let's say, 200 px, and the height, let's make that 300 px. I'm going to try to reduce it so that we can see it on the screen. So we make our height 300 px, yes, and then we are going to still put our border, right? So our border will still be solid RGB. Now this time I'm going to put RGB because I want us to compare RGB with normal RGBA. So RGB, and the value will be 100 followed by 104 followed by 21 followed, yeah, and that's also, that's RGB. It's not RGBA, it's RGB. So it's going to have what? 3 values, whereas RGBA has what? 4 values. And the 4th value of your RGBA, which is your A, is for what? Transparency. Is for what? Transparency. Okay, very good. So now we'll be able to compare a transparent color to a non-transparent color. In fact, let us make the colors equal so that if they are transparent, it will be easy for somebody to know that this color is transparent or this color is not transparent. So 234 followed by 34 followed by 134. All right, we have everything. Let's copy that and take it to our HTML. Okay, let's go for our editor. There you go. Editor. Here we go. All right, that's our HTML editor. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. Okay. Can you see you cannot differentiate between the background and the, what's it called? And the border, although solid, okay, we've not written the value. I only wrote solid RGBA. Let me put 225 px. Okay, so you can see the background has been added, yet we cannot differentiate between the background and the border. The reason is because we have used the same color, and because this is perfectly this is not transparent at all, you can see there's no difference. You don't even know where the border is, or there's no border. Okay, what we are going to do now is we are going to go back and we're going to change some things in our code. Okay, now remember, the reason why you cannot differentiate this one is because we have used 1. 1 means the color will not be transparent at all. 0 means the color will be totally transparent. So let's go back to our code, and this time around we are going to make transparency to be what? 0. Let's make it 0. All right, if we make it 0, we copy that, we put it into our HTML. Oh, can you see? Background has disappeared. We are only left with the border. Oh God, it is totally transparent. It's so transparent because we use 0. You cannot even see it. It's like a ghost that is passing through the house, and you just see the table shaking. You see the cup falling down, but you cannot see the person that is there. Hope I'm not scaring anybody. But that is the power of transparency. Can you see? Let's make our border a bit thicker next time so that it can give us what we want. Let's go back to our code. And this time, instead of using 0 or 1, we will use something in the middle. Let's use 0.5. Let's use 0.5. All right, 0.5 is what we are going to use. Okay, so now, all right, I'm going to go back to my code now. And then the first thing we are going to do is let's make our border thicker a bit. So we'll make our border, let's see, 50px. Okay, and this time, instead of making our transparency 0, we'll make it 0.5. Do we remember? Remember that transparency of 1, we cannot even see the border and the background. All of them are together because they are the same color. Now, transparency of 0 means the background is totally transparent. Remember, don't confuse yourself. It's the background we are making transparent, not the border. The border remains what? Solid. Okay. Now, when we put the transparency to 0, we cannot even see anything. Okay? All right. Now, we are going to adjust a bit and we put the transparency to what? 0.5 for the background. And we have made our border thicker. All right, so let's go and paste this code in our HTML editor. Oh, can you see? Can you see? It is the same pink color, but the one inside, which is the background color, has become transparent. While the one outside, which is the border color, can you see this part? This is the border color. It is what? It's not transparent at all because we use normal RGB. But in the middle here, we use RGBA. And you can see the difference. So A represents what? The transparency. Do we now see? Do we now see? Okay, that is the difference of things. That is how things what work. That makes it what? Beautiful. Okay, all right. So now, in your class work that you will do for me, you are going to give me 5 designs, 5 boxes. In the first one, the border will be transparent, the background will be solid. Use the same color. In the second one, the background will be transparent, the border will be solid. Use the same color. In the third one, the border and the background will have different transparency, meaning that you can use something like 0.7 for the background, 0.8 for the border. Do you see? Also use the same color. So you are going to give me 5 designs like that. Different transparency between the border and the background, but all the same color. Remember, the first one, the background will not have transparency, meaning your transparency will be what? 1 in the first one. For your background, you will use 1. In the second question, your border, you will just use RGB. In the second classwork, you are going to use RGB for your words, for your background, and RGBA for your border. I'm going to switch it now so that you understand how to answer my question. You can see I've switched the background now to what? To RGB, and the border to RGBA. So let's go and paste it in our HTML editor. Can you see? Okay, so our border now has our transparency. If we remove the solid, the border becomes gone because we cannot describe it. Is that clear? Okay, so for your own, just use different transparencies to get your answer. Okay, all right. So in the classwork, let's do it like that, between the border and the background. Okay, all right. So we've seen it. Now RGBA is for the background, the other one is for the border. Okay, so now that is it. All right. Okay, now the next thing we are going to be looking at is the design structure. The design structure. And we're going to be looking at how to use this knowledge to add shadow to our code. All right. See you guys in the next class.